We are here to bring you an amazing story that has crossed borders. It seems like there is sans borders when it comes to saving life, and that's what has occurred at MGM Hospital in Chennai. Tamil Nadu, which is known for amazing healthcare, has saved one more life. Not just saving one more life, but a dil, a heart from India, has saved a person from a neighboring country. We have Aisha with us. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Aisha. अब आपका तबीयत कैसे है?
अभी अच्छी बहुत है।
आपको क्या हुआ था? आप इंडिया क्यों आए?
मुझे हार्ट प्रॉब्लम हुआ था और मैं ट्रांसप्लांट के लिए आई थी।
और ये ट्रांसप्लांट प्रोसीजर और सब कुछ कैसा चला यहाँ पे? कुछ तकलीफ था? आपने क्यों पाकिस्तान में ये ट्रांसप्लांट नहीं किया?
ट्रांसप्लांट में ये सब पाकिस्तान में ये सब ट्रांसप्लांट नहीं होता और इंडिया में होता है।
और इसका पैसा और खर्च किसने लाइक हु टुक केयर ऑफ इट?
ये डॉक्टर्स ने और ऐश्वर्या ट्रस्ट ने किया।
आयशा, आपके बारे में मुझे थोड़ा आप बता दीजिए। आप पाकिस्तान में क्या कर रहे थे और आपका व्हाट इज़ योर ड्रीम टू बिकम इन द फ्यूचर?
फैशन डिज़ाइनर फ्यूचर में बनना था और स्टडी करनी है वापस जाके।
क्यों फैशन डिज़ाइनर? डॉक्टर नहीं चाहिए क्या?
नहीं, बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट है।
फैशन डिज़ाइनर में क्यों आपको इतना आशा है? व्हाट यू लाइक, वो क्लोथ्स डिज़ाइनिंग या पेरिस जाना है? कैसा ड्रीम है आपका?
अभी अभी इतना नहीं पता।
नहीं पता, आपने सोचा नहीं। अच्छा, ठीक है। एंड वी आल्सो हैव हर मदर। आप बता दीजिए, यहाँ आने को आपका वीज़ा और सब कुछ कैसा हुआ था? लाइक कोई डिफ़िकल्टी था क्या? यहाँ का हेल्प किया था कौन है?
नहीं, वीज़ा के लिए थोड़ा-सा डिफ़िकल्टीज़ होती हैं क्योंकि वीज़ा इतनी जल्दी मिलता नहीं है। एज़ अ पेशेंट थोड़ा-सा प्रॉब्लम होता है, लेकिन मिल जाता है,
और
प्रॉब्लम होते हैं।
आपने क्यों इंडिया को चूज़ किया था इस ऑपरेशन के लिए?
इंडिया ये कि हम पाकिस्तान से 1-2 पेशेंट गए थे, यहाँ से गए थे 1-2 पेशेंट, तो उनका सक्सेसफुल रहा था, तो हमें उनसे ही मालूम हुआ था कि अच्छा रिज़ल्ट है। तो बालासर के बारे में हमने मालूमात की थी, तो बहुत अच्छा रिज़ल्ट रहा था, तो इसीलिए हमने इंडिया चूज़ किया।
मैं आपसे सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ क्योंकि लाइक ये तो बहुत ही छोटी सवाल दे रही है मुझको। तो ये पैसा कैसे आपने जमा किया था यहाँ पे सब कुछ करने के लिए?
नहीं, फर्स्ट टाइम मैं जब आई थी तो थोड़ा क्राउड फंडिंग करके आई थी, तो मेरे पास सिर्फ ट्रांसप्लांट के पैसे थे, लेकिन मेरे पास आयशा को कार्डियक अरेस्ट हुआ, तो थोड़ा बहुत जो अमाउंट था वो मेरा उसमें लग गया। बाकी जो आयशा को बेड लगा था, उसमें भी ऐश्वर्या ट्रस्ट ने हमें हेल्प किया था, क्योंकि मेरे पास इतना अमाउंट नहीं था। तो सरबाला ने और ऐश्वर्या ट्रस्ट ने उस वक़्त भी हमें हेल्प किया था, और इस बार तो मैं बिल्कुल ही पैसे लेके नहीं आई थी, क्योंकि मेरे पास बिल्कुल नहीं थे। सिर्फ़ और सिर्फ़ मैं यहाँ रहने के लिए और सिर्फ़ अपने ख़र्च के लिए लेकर आई थी, तो बस इसी के लिए। बाकी सब जो है वो एक्सपेंस हॉस्पिटल की तरफ से है।
ये ऑपरेशन के पहले इनकी तबीयत कैसी थी और क्या कौन-सा डिफ़िकल्टी उन्होंने फेस किया था?
ऑपरेशन से पहले जो है बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम थी। इन्फेक्शन बहुत शदीद था, और ब्रीथिंग डिफ़िकल्टीज़, और ब्लीडिंग बहुत ज़्यादा होती थी, और चक्कर आना बहुत ज़्यादा। और अब ये कि ये सब चीज़ें नहीं हैं।
अभी यहाँ पे अब तमिलनाडु पे है, इंडिया पे हैं और एक इंडिया का दिल अब पाकिस्तान के अंदर है। लाइक ये इसके बारे में कुछ आप बोलना चाहते हैं?
बहुत अच्छा फ़ील होता है ये सारी चीज़ें सोचकर कि ऐसा हुआ है। हमारे लिए तो बहुत बड़ी बात है और बहुत खुशी महसूस होती है।
So, like we have spoken to Aisha and her mother Sanobar, but let us speak to the people who are behind this miracle. They will not accept this as a miracle, but this is Dr. Bala. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir. This has happened. So, what is the procedure? How was the procedure? Did you face any kind of difficulty, or what did she go through?
Well, she first came to us in 2019, and I think with severe heart failure. And within a couple of days, while we were evaluating her, she became sick and had a cardiac arrest. So we had to do a CPR for close to 45 minutes. And then we had to put in a machine called ECMO, which sustains the circulation even if your heart is not beating. And fortunately, she woke up after, I think, 2 days, and then we put in a temporary pump and a permanent artificial heart from the Medtronic company called Heartware Pump HWAD. Normally, that should function for 10 to 15 years. And with that, she was discharged home back to her country. But unfortunately, she developed leakage of one of her valves. The aortic valve started leaking. and she developed a bad infection around the drive line, the line which comes out of the chest for the batteries. And she became very sick and required several hospitalizations for treatment. And it was not easy to treat in that country because they don't have a VAD program. So the equipment required to monitor the functioning of the LVAD doesn't exist, and they are unfamiliar with the machine. So it was very difficult for us to, and since we already treated her, we have some kind of responsibility clinically. And then the infection was very bad. She had an abscess which needed to be drained, and from there she would bleed. So the only option was to get her to come here, and getting a visa was not easy. And eventually, somehow she managed and came, but they had absolutely no money. So he was here for 9 months. We discussed a lot of other options, including changing the valve. Each of them was a high risk procedure. Or putting in a percutaneous valve. It's not easy in a patient with a functioning VAD, and they are not long-term solutions. So she was listed for a transplant with fully knowing that it's not easy for a foreigner to get an organ in this country. We do close to 100 transplants a year in our hospital, but foreigners is very difficult. But as luck would have it, there was a 69-year-old donor in Delhi, and because perhaps of the age, nobody else wanted that organ. It was going waste. So NOTO, the central agency which distributes organs for the whole country, allotted it to her, and we transplanted her. It was technically challenging because she had a lot of pus around the heart. More than that, the heart was too big for her chest, so we couldn't close it. So her chest was kept open for close to 10 days. Then she ultimately recovered. The biggest challenge was actually to raise the money. It's not a routine transplant. The bill would be anywhere up between 30 and 35 lakhs. It's a huge amount of money. So we run a trust called Aishwarya Trust. They fund poor children. They've in fact funded close to 175 transplants from this country, mostly children, but including adults. So we sought the help of the trust, and they generously came forward to help. And I had to put a considerable amount of money from my own finances. And at that time, several of the patients who had a treatment with us, including transplanted patients, seeing the plight of this family, generously came forward on their own to contribute money. And that's how this got done. But we help all the time, but it's not easy to raise this kind of money.
This is an amazing story, doctor. And here's another doctor who was also part of this particular operation. So, how is her life right now? How is it going to be? Will it be normal, or does she have to take care of in any specific manner?
Yeah, actually, now she has a well functioning heart, so she can have a normal life. But only thing that she should be on immunosuppression throughout her life. That's because anytime the body can reject the organ, so we give it immunosuppressive drugs. Since she is on immunosuppression, she is prone for infection. So she has to be very careful with her lifestyle. She should avoid going to crowded places or the areas where people are having infection, all those things. Otherwise, she can lead a normal life.
I understand that such operations, such transplants are routine. But is there specific about this particular story of Aisha being here and the kind of struggle you have gone to collect the money and save her life?
Yeah, actually, there were medical challenges. She came with the dilated cardiomyopathy with severe heart failure. She had a cardiac arrest. So it's a great challenge. To get back the heart is not easy. So we did ECPR. ECPR means ECMO assisted CPR. So luckily we could get her back, but it is not a permanent solution. So then we put LVAD, then finally did the transplant. Obviously, the previous surgeries will have more challenges because there will be bleeding, there was infection, so it was a challenge. And recovery also, it takes time because she has undergone so many procedures, she had infection, so That was a great challenge.
Doctor. So that was a team. This is Ayesha with a heart from here. You are now India's daughter. You आपको कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं? You want to say anything?
थैंक यू सबका सबका वापस थैंक यू सो मच.
और सिर्फ फैशन डिजाइनर ही डॉक्टर नहीं बनाने का.
नहीं बहुत डिफिकल्ट है.
आपको कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं?
Thank you so much for India and doctors. Thank you.
So much. That was Aisha and Sanobar. We generally say that heart melts, but here a heart has melted boundaries and is saving lives. Divyan, Pramod Madhav, Point today.